Good afternoon, students. Today I'm going to teach you business studies second chapter, that is principle of management. So before starting the things, the management principles, we have to understand some terms which is necessary before starting the management principles. So first of all, we need to know what is principle. In Hindi we can call it as Siddhant. But what does it mean? It means that it is a statement which reflect the fundamental truth about some fact which is based on some cause and effect relationship. That is clear to everyone. Now next, that is management. What is management principles? Earlier I have told you that is principles. Now I am going to tell you what is management principle. So management principles are general guideline management principles are general guideline for decision making and behavior of managers. Management principles are a general guidelines for making decision. As you know, manager, he has to take many decisions in his day-to-day work, and it also affects his behavior, that he can learn from these management principles, and he can apply these principles and learn also what mistake has he done earlier before applying this management principles. That is clear to everyone. Now I'm going to tell you the next topic, that is features of principle of management. As in the previous chapter, we have studied nature and significance of management. The first features is universal application. Universal application, it means that its application, it is applied, or it can be considered as a pervasive function. Means it can be applied in every type of organization. Irrespective of its size and nature. Means the management principles are to be applied either it is a business organization or non-business organization, either it is a profit or non-profit organization, either it is a public or private. It can be applied every year. For example, one principle is there, that is division of work. This principle indicates that instead of giving a work to an individual, it can be divided among a different employees of the organization. So the work will be done efficiently and effectively, and the worker will also get specialized in it. The employees will also get specialized in it. So this division of work is not only applied in private firm. It can be applied in government offices also, public sector also, private offices also, even non-profit organization, profit organization. In every type of organization it can be applied. The applicability, maybe it will be vary from different organization. Second, that is, it act as a journal guidelines. How does act as a journal guideline? Because it doesn't give, these principles don't give any ready-made solution for any problem. It give a guideline to manager to how to solve these, whatever the problem he is facing, how it can be solved, how it can be verified. So it act as only a general guideline which affect the behavior of the manager, that how he is going to tackle with this problem. For example, one principle is there, that is principle of stability of tenure. According to this principle, it gives the stability time period to settle down to employee, to give the time period to employee to settle down in the organization. But what time period is it is to be decided by the firm, that it will be a 6 month, 1 year, that is depend upon the nature and size of the organization, even what work he has given to his employees. That is clear. Next, that is it is formed by experiment. These principles are formed by experiments. How these principles are formed means, if I am talking about these management principles, whatever the principles we will be having, that we will discuss later in the next topics, it is not made over a night. It will not workable as a principle over a night. There is a deep observation and repeated experiment. After this, the principal name is given to that particular principle. For example, the division of work, it will be not act as a principle over a night. It will be not made over a night. But once it has made, then it will be experimented in different group of people, in different organization, and when the result will be same, when its effect will be same in each and every organization, and the firm will get benefit of it, then it will give or it act as a principle. That is clear. Next, that these principles are flexible in nature. Means whatever the management principles, these are not rigid. It can be, its applications will be applied under different situation in the firm, in the organization. These are not rigid. The manager, those who are using these principles, he can mold according to the situation take place and according to the situation which is prevailing in the organization. It cannot be molded. It cannot be rigid. It can be molded according to the situation take place in the organization. That is clear. Next, that is a fifth one, that mainly behavior. Mainly behavior. If I am talking about these management principles, these are insist or applied on the employees to mold the behavior of the employees. Manager always try to, with the help of these management principles, he always try to mold the behavior of the employees. For example, one principle is there, that is principle of discipline. According to this principle, it gives the insist to change or commit towards the organization. Principle of team spirit. It molds the employees' behavior towards a teamwork, towards a team spirit. So just because it is to be said that whatever the applicability of management, it's focus on the mold or change of behavior of the employees. That is clear. Next, that is cause and effect relationship. Means these principles are not applied blindly. It means cause and effect relationship means that if these principles are applied under different condition in a different manner. For example, if it means if these principle is applied in any situation, what might be its effect? As I have told you that these management principles are based on some cause and effect relationship. So principles are based on some cause and effect relationship. It means if the organization is applying these principles in any situation, what might be its effect? For example, if division of work is to be applied in the organization, what will be its result? What will be its effect? Obviously, earlier the work is to be done by an individual person. Now it is to be done by now the work is divided among the number of employees. When a single person is repeating his job again and again, he will specialize in it. That it's mean whatever the management principles are there, it is to be based on any causes, and it's after applying it, what will be its effect? That is there. Last, that is it is contingent. The meaning of contingent, that is dependent. That means dependent. Means these principles are dependent on the situation which is prevailing in the organizations. Means the principles, management principles are to be changed according to the changes take place or according to the situation changed in the organization. If any changes will be take place in the organization, the principles can also be changed. For example, team spirit. Team spirit can be applied when in the organization the work is to be carried out by the group of employees. But it cannot be applied when the work is carried out by one person. That is clear. That's why it is to be considered as contingent feature also. So these are the management principles features that you have to study. Understand? Next topic, that is importance of management principles. So in that, first is providing manager with useful insight into reality. How these management principles provide a manager useful insight into reality. As these management principles act as a guideline for every manager for performing their day-to-day work. These principles improve the skills, knowledge, understanding of every manager for managerial situation. With the help of these principles, managers are able to take right decision at a right direction. That is clear to everyone. So this is the first objective of this is the first importance of management. Next, that is optimum utilization of resources. Second, optimum utilization of resources. These principles, management principles, is always insist the manager to go with the plan activity and systematic place for man and material in the organization. These principles always make able the manager that he will always use the resource in an optimum way. That means the resources are fully utilized. With the help of these management principles, it will provide the manager to get the maximum benefit from the human efforts and other resources. For example, one scientific decision is there that is given by F.W. Taylor, that is time study. It is to be conducted to set up a standard time. For that, they are cut down the wasteful movement and setting up the standard time for completion of tasks. So that is clear. Now the third, that is scientific decision. Scientific decisions. As a manager, they have to take many decisions every day. So with the help of these management principles, it make able to the manager to approach various problem systematically, to deal various problem systematically and scientifically. That is clear. Next, that is meeting changing environmental requirement. As you know, the business environment is keep on changing, and whatever the changes will take place, the manager need to make that changes. He he has to make that changes in his internal environment to match with the external environment. So with the help of these principles, manager is able to take the right decision at a right level in the organization. Yes, these principles are general guideline for the manager, yet by modifying it, the changes can be made in the organization. That is clear. Now the fifth point, that is effective administration. Effective administration. As you know, if I am talking about the term administration, it is the function of top level management. In this function, major plan and policies are formed. So these management principles, it help the manager, it guide the manager and give the base, and have the base to form the administrative policy that will work to make the organization systematically, and the work is also going systematically in the organization. For example, some principles example I am giving, that is principle of scalar chain. According to that, if any information is there, it is to be passed from subordinate to superior, and it will not pass directly from lower level to top level. It will be passed from firstly lower level to middle level and middle level to top level. Principle of unity of command. According to that feature, the one boss should be there to instruct the person, to guide the person, to give the order. Because if more bosses are there, for giving instruction, it will create chaos and confusion in the mind of employees, and in fact employees will also get the excuse that I am doing that boss work, I am doing that boss work. That's why these principles provide a useful insight to the manager to make the plan and policy systematically, to make the work in the organization systematically. Last, that is fulfilling social responsibility. Fulfilling social responsibility. As you know, business, it is a creation of society. As businessman, he has used society's resource, so it must do something for the society. So these management principles guide the manager not only to achieve the organizational objective, but also to achieve some social objective also. These principles are providing a guideline to the manager that he must do something for the society also. For example, one principle is there, that is principle of fair remuneration. Principle of fair remuneration. According to that principle, what it's indicated that there should be a fair remuneration to the employee according to his qualification, according to his job, according to his efforts. Fair remuneration, what remuneration will be there, it will not decided by this principle, but it should be adequate, or a competitive salary should be given to your employees, so he will put his best. So this this important, it will guide the manager to achieve some social responsibility also, to fulfill some social responsibility also. So these are the importance of management principles. Understood? Thank you. These are the today's topic. And if you have any confusion, note it down in your rough notebook. We will discuss it later. Thank you. Have a nice day. Good morning, students. Today I am here to teach you the second chapters, and that we have discussed in the earlier clip. That is meaning and definition of management principle, features and its importance, that we have discussed. Now today I am going to tell you Fewell's principle of management. As for making our business, for making our organizational activities smoothly, two people, they have given principles, management principles and techniques. So we are able to, by using that, we are able to make our business, make our organizational activity in a perfect way. So today I am telling you Fewell's principle of management. Before starting the principles, I am going to give the introduction about Fewell. The full name of Fewell is Henry Fewell. He was born in 1841. He has got his degree, coal mining degree, in 1860, and started his work as a mining engineer in one coal company. In 1888, he has got the promotion. He has promoted on the post of managing director. And at that time, if I am talking about the company's condition was insolvent. Fewell, he had taken that challenge. He accepted that challenge, and by applying his managerial skills, managerial principles, techniques, to bring out the company from this situation, and he succeeded in it. After that, he has introduced these principles, so the firm, the other organization can also utilize it, apply it, and learn from their mistakes. Now I am going to start the first principle of management, that is division of work. That is the first principle of division of work. According to this principle, Fewell, he insists that the work should be divided into small tasks or units. Firstly, the work will be divided into small tasks or units, and instead of giving the whole task, whole work to one person, it will be distributed, it will be given, or it will be assigned to the employees. Among the employees, it will be distributed among the employees according to their qualification, capability and caliber. And it will reduce the burden, and it will to one person, and divided this work task among the number of employees. Because of that, when the work person, He is going to perform his own task, his own work again and again and again. He will get perfect in it, specialize in it, and it will also improve his efficiency. For example, if I'm taking the example of bank. In bank, the job of one person is there, those who there for deposit the cash, one is for withdrawing, one for printing the passbook, one for loan, one for another making draft, and many other jobs are there. That will be divided among the different employees according to their qualification, caliber and capability. And when they do it again and again, they will specialize in it. That is clear. So this is the first principle of fuel. Second, authority and responsibility. According to this principle, fuel insists that there should be a balance in authority and responsibility. Before starting its explanation about it, I am going to tell these two terms. Authority, it means power to take the decision, and responsibility means obligation to complete the task on time. So there should be according to fuel, there should be a parity, balance between equality between authority and responsibility. The reason behind it, if there is an excess of authority in comparison to responsibility, it creates a negative result. And if there is a excess of responsibility in comparison to authority, because of that, what will be the result? The task will not complete on time. For example, if the production manager have given the responsibility to their subordinates that you have to produce 100 units, but he hasn't given the authority to purchase the raw material. So because of less authority, they are not able to complete the task on time. So that's why he insists that there should be equality between authority and responsibility. Third, that is principle of discipline. Principle of discipline. Discipline means it's regarding the superior as well as subordinates. Follow the code of conduct of the organization, rules and regulation of the organization. There should be a fair agreement among superior and subordinates. They have to meet each other's commitment, what they have done towards each other. So these are the things that is to be considered in discipline. Discipline that I have told you, what is it means? So according to fuel, he insists that there should be a equal rules and regulation and equal code of conduct for everyone, those who are working in the organization. Means there is not a different rule for superior and different rule for subordinates. Everyone are equal. They all are bound under the rules and regulation and code of conduct of the organization. Means, for example, if employees, they are committing to produce more, so it should be produced by them efficiently and effectively. And on the other hand, employers should also fulfill their commitment towards employees. What has he done towards employees? That if the firm will be earn more, he will distribute that profit with employees also. That is clear. Next, that is fourth, unity of command. Principle of unity of command. Here command means doesn't mean giving order. Yes, unity of command means command should be given or the order should be given Here command means order. That is clear. Command means giving order. Means there should be a one boss who command to their superior. Sorry, to their subordinates. Means one order should be given by one boss only. If number of bosses are giving order to their employees, to their subordinate, the employees will get confused that whose order he is going to finish first, whose order is going to they are going to follow, and even they will also get the opportunity to give an excuse that he is busy with that boss work. He is to another boss, he is busy. He is going to tell he is busy with that boss work. So for removing that confusion, for removing that situation, Fewell insists that the order should be given, the command should be given by one boss only. So it will not create any confusion and employees will not get any chance to get the excuse for completion of task. That is clear. Now I am going to tell you fifth. That is principle of unity of direction. Here direction means not to move in that direction. It means one unit means one plan. It means that the efforts of all the employees, those who are working in the organization, they should put their effort, they should perform their activities towards a common goal, that is organizational goal. If all they are working in a common direction for achieving an organizational goal, it will lead to coordination. Obviously, when all departments, all the employees, all the member of the nation, they are performing their activity towards a same path, towards a common direction, coordination automatically arise over there, and it will beneficial for the organization that they are able to achieve the organization goal efficiently and effectively. That is clear. Next, that is subordination of individual interest to general interest. That is clear. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. According to this principle, Fewell insists that the individual interest the general interest, the organizational interest suppress the individual interest. Means, if any situation will be occur, if possibility will be there, then at that time the individual's interest will be sacrificed to achieve the organizational interest. According to that principle, Fewell insists that if, as you know, the employees, they are also having their own objective, they have joined the firm for any objective only, and at the same time organization always have a objective. If these both objectives are in the same direction, individual as well as organizational objective are in the same direction, then it will not create any problem. But if the objectives are in different direction of both the parties, then manager, he tried to integrate both objective, individual as well as organizational objective towards a common goal. But if it is not possible, then individual interest will be sacrificed for achieving a organizational interest. For example, suppose a firm is facing financial crisis, financial problem, and they are not able to generate that much of income that incur the expenses. So for that period, the manager, he try to convince the employees that as firm is facing this financial crisis, so at that time, please support us to achieve our organizational objective, and when the organizational objective will be achieved, sure shot, your objective will also be fulfilled. That is clear? That is clear. Now the last, that is principle of remuneration of persons. Person means those who are working, means employees, those who are working in the organization. Remuneration of persons. According to this principle, Fewell insists that the employee should get fair and adequate salary. So they will put their efforts in according to their qualification and capability. So they will be motivated and will put their more efforts and best efforts for achieving the organizational objective. He want to say that if the employees of the organization, they are not getting according to their efforts, according to their qualification, they are not putting their efforts in a best way, and their firm will face a loss. The remuneration, it is not decided by this principle. What remuneration should be given, it's depend upon the nature and size of the organization. It's not decided by this principle. For example, if it is going to decide, suppose 50,000 for every, how is to be possible for a small organization? There should be, according to that, what remuneration it should be given to the employees. It should be according to fair and adequate under the Wage Act, by keeping this point, that is Wages Act, and the firm's capacity, financial capacity, then they will decide their remuneration. That is clear. So these are the 7 principles. These are the 7 principles, and 7 more are there that I am going to discuss in the next class.